My 36 male wife passed away 5 years ago. Now it's just me and my daughter Sophia, teen. When my wife passed away, her family was a great support and helped a lot. Around the time my wife died, my sister-in-law Claire, 37, had lost her husband due to prostate cancer. We bonded during the time, and I thought the relationship was platonic and made it extremely clear that I wasn't ready for a relationship, especially with someone who was related to my wife. Sophia and Claire's birthdays are 5 days apart, but Sophia's is first. For Sophia's birthday, I got her a car. I knew she wanted it for a long time, and she's been doing fantastic at home and school. For Claire's birthday, I didn't get her anything and sent her a happy birthday text. Claire got extremely angry at this, and the next day she told me I was an idiot for not getting her something but getting a teenage girl a car. I told her that Sophia was my daughter, so obviously I'd get her something for her birthday. I also didn't think it would be a problem because she didn't get me anything for my birthday either. Claire ended up telling her whole family about the situation. I texted her a long paragraph telling her I'm not her husband and didn't owe her anything. My mother-in-law told me I shouldn't have said that to her because she's still grieving and I'm her only support. I asked around and people told me I was the idiot. I honestly don't think I am because I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. Not the idiot. What did your sister-in-law get your daughter? Or your mother-in-law? Nothing. What about mother-in-law and father-in-law and the rest of sister-in-law's family? I'm slightly concerned that your sister-in-law is jealous of your teen daughter over a birthday present. Supporting a woman through the loss of her husband doesn't make you the replacement husband, especially if you're not doing the things a husband and wife do together. Your daughter is priority number 1 through 5. Everything else starts at priority 6, and some woman you're legally but not actually related to losing an opposite gender spouse makes for a great rom-com movie setup but not the basis for an actual relationship, especially if you're not interested. That's the funniest part to me, LMAO. She wanted a car-level gift from you and you got nothing. At least try, Claire. And you're not grieving. You're also not her only support since people were calling you on behalf of when she complained to them about this. Grief doesn't excuse treating people like that. Unfortunately, the people that are enabling her are even worse. Claire's text to you was absolutely ridiculous and also rude. On what planet does she compare to your daughter? As for your mother-in-law, that comment about your being sister-in-law's only support right now is strange and manipulative. For one thing, doesn't mother-in-law consider herself part of the support system? But even without that, it's very strange that a 37-year-old woman has nothing in the way of friends and family to support her. So maybe that text gives a clue as to why. Agree. They both lost spouses around the same time. Why does he have to be her support system? Especially when he has a daughter to support. Not trying to be callous with this comment, but after 5 years, she still needs a big support network for her grieving. I think it's time to take a step back from the sister-in-law. She's inserting herself into your immediate family. About a month ago, my brother, 34, sent out a group text to me and a group of his friends trying to plan a day for us all to go over to his house for a day of yard games, grilling and drinking. After working out scheduling conflicts, we landed on this coming Saturday, tomorrow. We've been bantering back and forth about this day in the group chat for the past month, and all of us are really looking forward to it. My brother's wife and toddler son were supposed to be spending the day at her mom's place, but I guess those plans fell through. They will be at the house, but my brother said that doesn't change our plans. However, sister-in-law reached out to my wife and asked if she wanted to come over and bring our toddler. Without talking to me about it first, my wife agreed. When she told me she planned on going over there too, I started asking questions instead of being excited about it. I've always planned on crashing there, so I said we would have to take 2 cars and it's an hour's drive and gas is expensive. She said they could stay there too, but we have a dog, and my sister-in-law is allergic, so bringing him is not an option. I also told her that we've been planning this day as a guy's day for a month, and I've been looking forward to a day where I'm only responsible for myself and utterly devoid of parental duties. She said that the guys could still have their fun and she would just hang out with sister-in-law. I said that if they come with, there's a very real and highly probable situation where I'll be pulled into some form of parental duties during the day, and I was really looking forward to a day without that. For context, I haven't had a day like this since last summer. My wife took a 5-day trip with a couple of friends a few months ago while I was at home, so this would be the first night I've spent away from my son in almost a year. My wife got upset that I was subtly hinting that I didn't want them to come. She asked me if I wanted them there, and I said, I can't stop you from accepting sister-in-law's invitation and going over there, but I'm going into this day with the expectation that I will be free from all parental duties and that this is a day off for me. If you go over there, I want you to agree that you will be responsible for all the kid duties. She didn't like that answer. She said I'm still a dad, and just because I want to have fun with the boys doesn't remove my responsibilities as a husband and father. She said it's unreasonable to expect her to take 100% responsibility for our son when both of us are present in the same place. I told her that the simple solution to that problem was for them to stay home as we had always planned. As of last night, my wife had not made a final decision on what she's going to do tomorrow. I know I might have come off a bit harsh, but I wanted to clarify what I expect tomorrow to be, whether they come over or not. Not the idiot. She got to take a 5-day vacation and you can't take one. You're not in the wrong at all. Why can't your sister-in-law go to your house instead? You're 100% not in the wrong. If she could take a 5-day vacation, there's no reason she can't give you one freaking day. You are the idiot. The fact is her sister-in-law invited her because she wanted the company. Plans have changed slightly, and you sound quite stubborn about it. It'd be interesting if your wife chose not to go and called your sister-in-law to explain exactly why. Also, the car issue. It's a one-off plan. Gas is expensive. That sounds like a ridiculous excuse, to be honest. Not the idiot. Your wife had 5 days alone with friends thousands of miles away and was free from childcare those 5 days. You're entitled to a break now and then, just like she is. If my husband told me that his sister-in-law screwed up the guy's time plan by inviting me, I'd understand and bow out. No big deal at all. Disagree. You are the idiot. It isn't your house to dictate who gets an invitation. And you are a parent 24/7. So sorry this one day may not go as planned. You could just be happy the cousins get to spend some time together and that your wife and sister-in-law get along so well. Oh no, your family wants to spend time together. How horrid your life must be. I was watching my young niece while my sister took her baby to the doctor. We were talking about how her dad's birthday is coming up. My niece said she wanted to make him a cake. I said that was a brilliant idea and gave her my tablet to look up a recipe. She picked one and then started gathering ingredients in my kitchen with my little step stool. When I went to help her crack eggs, she said, "No, I'm making Daddy's cake all by myself." So I stepped back and just supervised for safety. We put the cake in the oven. I told her I would put it in the fridge to cool when it was done, and we would decorate it tomorrow. She was very excited when her mom picked her up, and my sister was excited too when she heard about it. Needless to say, the cake didn't turn out well. Ingredients weren't mixed properly. Proportions were wrong. I baked a new cake with the same recipe and pan. When she came over the next day, I presented the new cake as the one she'd made and she decorated it. Again, she wanted to by herself, but sloppy frosting tastes just as good as neat and is cuter anyway. When sister arrived to pick up her daughter and the cake, she was thrilled. We both told her she was going to be a star baker one day, and my niece was beaming. I was talking on the phone with my sister about the party tomorrow, and she mentioned how it's incredible her daughter's first attempt at baking turned out perfect. I laughed and told her the truth, knowing my sister would keep the secret from my niece or anyone who could tell her because she's the mom. I figured she would think the story was charming and something to tell my niece when she's an adult, and star baker as a funny childhood anecdote. My sister was livid and asked what I did with the actual cake. I said I fed it to my dog because it wasn't edible. She cussed me out and hung up on me. I can't ask anyone in my social circle which of us is wrong because I don't want it getting back to my niece that she didn't make the special cake. Am I missing something? I wanted my niece to be confident and encourage her sense of independence. Did I cross a line here? Not the idiot, but your sister is a bit of an idiot. If she thinks that her young child can make a perfect cake on her first attempt, I think her anger at you is due to her disappointment that she doesn't have a prodigy child. I just keep my distance until she apologized. For the future, just bear your sister's reasoning ability in mind. Not the idiot for swapping out the cakes. It's a totally harmless thing that will make for a funny story in the future. But I don't know how good it is for the dog to eat a whole cake, but no, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. Oh, it was a chocolate garlic onion macadamia nut rat poison cake, of course, and with grapes, just like Mom used to make. Honestly, can that aged child even read recipes? How gullible is her mom? Like, how can she be shocked her little kid couldn't bake an edible cake on her first attempt with no direction or help from an adult? This could have been a secret between you and your sister. She is being overly dramatic. I would appreciate that you let my daughter make a cake on her own, and when you realized it wasn't edible, you made one that was. You even had her decorate it. So now we can all actually enjoy eating the cake, while the face on that little girl will glow. Imagine nobody ate the cake that she made. The little girl would be upset and probably never want to bake again. If I was your sister, I'd be amazed at what a fantastic aunt my child has. I'm not, but I still believe that you're awesome, not just because you had all the ingredients on hand to make not one, but 2 cakes from scratch. So I, 27 female, am getting married to my fiancé, 27 male, in a little under 3 weeks. Everything has been going amazing with the planning, and I'm ecstatic about the day. My best friend Cassie, who I've been friends with since we were 10 years old, is my maid of honor. She's truly one of the sweetest people I've ever met, and has stuck with me through everything. She's been the biggest help in planning this ordeal, and I wouldn't trade her for the world. However, I've never been the biggest fan of her girlfriend, Sophie. I always show her respect and try to include her in things, but she's a huge introvert, and sometimes it can come off as disrespect in return, Cassie's own words. But they always seem very happy together, so I hope she warms up to me a little in time. They've only been together for over a year and a half. Several days ago, Sophie approached me, asking me if I'd be okay if she proposed during my reception. She claimed it would be an excellent way for Cassie and I to bond more, having our weddings linked and all of that. Not that we need any more time to bond, she's already my other half. I love Cassie, but I'd never allow anyone to do that, so I shut down the idea immediately, and Sophie got all cranky with me and left. She said something along the lines of, "I don't need your permission anyway," and walked out the door. I feared she'd attempt it anyway, so I went to Cassie. Needless to say, Cassie was mad. I never really saw her get angry, but she was livid. She apologized profusely and said she couldn't believe Sophie would ever think of doing something like that, and that was the end of our conversation. However, 2 days ago I got another call from Sophie, berating me for spoiling her plan to propose, and was informed that Cassie would be attending the wedding by herself and is currently not speaking to her. I was concerned that wasn't the entire story, so I called Cassie. She was a mess, said she was staying with her parents right now, and disinvited Sophie as her +1 because she was scared Sophie would have proposed anyway, given a chance, and she didn't want to ruin my wedding. I told her to come stay with me for a while instead, and she showed up several hours later, still a complete mess. She said that she and Sophie had a huge fight and she was reconsidering whether she wanted to stay in this relationship. According to Cassie, these huge fights are a common occurrence. I feel awful for ruining her proposal and potentially ruining her relationship. Cassie has been picking herself up in front of me and continuing to be great with the last-minute to-dos, but I've caught her crying while I'm not around. I love her and don't want her to resent me for this, so I need to know, am I the idiot, and is there anything I can do to fix this? Not the idiot. I feel like if Sophie had accepted your no and graciously left the conversation, you wouldn't have mentioned anything to Cassie. But the spiteful, "I don't need your permission anyway," was rude, selfish, and entitled. It's your wedding, and it sounds like Cassie fully respects that it's your day and that Sophie was in the wrong. Proposing at someone else's wedding is never a good idea, and you were right to tell her you didn't want her to. Sophie's reaction was way out of line, and I don't blame you for going to Cassie to ensure it didn't happen anyway. The fights they've been having are on them, including this one. If Sophie can't stay stable in the relationship, that was never on you. Being the catalyst argument that split them up, I could see why you're feeling guilty, but the last straw is never the only straw. It was going to happen sooner or later. At least now, Cassie can move on to a healthy partner and relationship, and she has her best friend to help her through it. You inadvertently did Cassie a huge favor. At my 21 female university, students whose parents make under $65,000 go to school completely free, and students whose parents make between $65,000 and about $200,000 are on financial aid. Above around $200,000, the school considers parents able to pay and expects them to do so, and a student can't get financial aid. So unless you were an emancipated minor or are over 26, no exceptions, your financial aid is dependent on parental income because schools expect your parents to pay if they can. My parents made well over the cutoff, but they refused to pay for my college for no reason, meaning I wouldn't be able to attend college. Because they make too much money for me to get financial aid but refuse to pay, They essentially tried to screw me out of an education. However, I met a guy, 22, who became my boyfriend, and his parents paid for my entire college. He's an only child and his mom always wanted a daughter, and they basically adopted me into their family. She owns a makeup brand and has helped me get prestigious internships. I'm staying with him and his family all summer. They invited me to accompany them where they're staying for the summer. So I am, and I have no plans to go home and see my parents. My parents demanded to know where I was. I explained that I was with my boyfriend and his parents. Then they demanded to know why I wasn't coming home. I said I decided to spend some time with the people who care about me and support me. They say I'm their daughter and I should be at home with our family. I said I'm already with family and don't owe them anything. It's not like they should care about me or what I'm doing. They can keep the same energy they always have because I don't need them. They're upset that I don't wish to see them. I don't see any reason why I should visit. I'm with my boyfriend and his family and I have no reason to see them. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If your parents think you should be on your own, they have to let you be on your own. If you found a new family who's willing to support you financially, then you did pretty well on your own, and they can shut up about it because they wanted you to be on your own for college. Your story is why I think college should be free for everyone. Admission should be equitable but tuition free. I don't want little queer kids having to stay in the closet or parents to force religion or marriage in exchange for money for education. I agree. I feel the same way about things like school lunches. Unfortunately, too many people won't feed their kids, even if they have the money, because they're lazy or won't fill out forms because of pride. Your parents wanted a free nanny and housekeeper for when they're old. That was the role and the future they had planned for you. Never go back. I'm glad you found a family who loves you. It's not their responsibility to pay for your university as you're an adult. For this same reason, you can spend the summer and the rest of your life without ever seeing your parents if you want. However, I wouldn't advise holding a grudge against them, as making $200,000 doesn't necessarily mean they're super well off to afford your studies, especially if you're from the US. Agree. It's not inherently evil to not pay for college and being age 21. They aren't going to fail at life if they don't go to college immediately either. This reads like a kid who was given everything they wanted growing up and feels entitled to free college.